Yo, 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 this is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, your artist Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. And a quick video for you guys, this video came out early, so I will be using Absolutely Lost Modes and the Third Awakenings infographics for this one. I haven't been able to make my own screenshots yet, but we're gonna get there. But anyway, this video we're gonna take a look at each of the February 2024 sync pairs and see if it's worth it to get one copy, at least one copy of these sync pairs, or just completely avoid them as the anniversary, the 4.5-year anniversary is coming next month. So we have 5 sync pairs this month. We have Chase, we have a variety, Falkner, we have 2 Palatine sync pairs like usual. But this month we have our very first male Palatine sync pair in the form of Victor. And we have, unfortunately, a Master Fair. And this is a very attractive Master Fair because we haven't had a type of this Master Fair yet before. So is it worth it to scout for any of these sync pairs? We're gonna take a look at this video right now. So with that, hit the thumbs up for me and let me know in the comment section right now if any of these sync pairs, at least for their looks themselves, appeal to you. A lot of people wanted a Victor alt. Well, here's your Victor alt. Falkner has had his third alt, or third Pokemon already, which is kind of frustrating since I don't exactly like Falkner that much. But anyway, maybe this version of Falkner will make me like him. And speaking of Victor, Greedent is my absolutely hatest Pokemon in the entire franchise. So, well, and Victor is one of my favorite protagonists, so that is kind of a confusing thing for me. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. And now, let's just take a look at the dates that they come out. So, we have Chase coming out on January 1. That's tomorrow if you're watching this when the video comes out. And ends on February 20. You have until February 19 to scout. We have Falkner who ends on February 19. You have until February 18. That's one day before Chase ends. February 5 to February 18. You have Victor over here with February 9 to February 26. February 27, he'll be gone. 2 days after Victor, you have Candice coming out February 11 to February 26. Then a couple of days later, you have your Signesuit Gladion coming out on February 19. Ends on April 1. You have until March 31 to scout for these sync pairs. And yeah, after Gladion comes out, 2 days after Gladion, you have the rerun of Anniversary Lily. And 2 days after Anniversary Lily, you have the rerun of Signesuit Lusamine. And 2 days after Signesuit Lusamine comes out, you have the rerun of Signesuit Steven. And all of them are gonna have their EX roles, which are, well, for these sync pairs, you have Sprint, Tech, Sprint. What is with these sync pairs? Sprint, Tech, Sprint. Well, I could understand supports having the Sprint EX role. That's a very nice thing because not only do you get a double sync buff, you also bring in your second sync move relatively early. Support with Tech is not... I'm not a fan of support Tech combinations unless the support sync pair has its own multiplier in some way, but support Techs are not exactly that good except for that increase, that little increase stat. Meanwhile, Strike Tech is a nice thing because Strike can hit everyone and Tech just increases the damage times 1.5. Strike Sprint is a new thing. I'm not sure if I've seen a Strike Sprint before. I've seen Sprint Strike, but I haven't seen Strike Sprint. Or is there? So basically, you get to hit everyone, and then you get to bring in your second sync move relatively early. That means you can, again, if you decide to 6-star EX Gladion and use his sync move as your very first sync move, that means you probably land 2 sync moves with Gladion before the opponent is able to use his or their sync move, which is, I guess, a good thing. So, in this list as well, we have 3 support sync pairs and 2 strikers. One is a physical striker, one is a special striker. So, 3 supports as well as 3 techs, and then 2 sprint units as well as 2 strike units, which is a very interesting combination. And over here, I guess the good thing about this month is that there is only one Poke Fair. I'm not a fan of Poke Fairs these days because Poke Fairs, unless you're a whaler like me, you don't have this problem. Poke Fairs max out at 5 copies. So if you want to max Chase out, you have to get 5 copies of Chase, which is really hard to do unless you get really lucky with 400 scout points. And then for Falkner, he is a variety scout. Variety scout has a discounted banner, if you want to call it that way. And you can get at least 1 copy of Falkner, guaranteed, if you are willing to spend gems, real money. That's 7,500 paid gems. Guarantees you 1 copy of Falkner as well as enough 5-star power-ups to make him 6-star EX, which is a nice, cheaper way of, rather than risking your money all the way, risking your gems all the way to 36,600 gems. Meanwhile, you have Palentine's units. There is a discounted tiered scout as well. That's 7,700 paid gems to guarantee, well, not to guarantee, to give you a 25% chance of scouting for either Victor or Candice in their respective great ticket scout. 25% chance of getting them, or a random, probably a worthless 5-star that you don't need. And if you go all the way to tier 10 for the tiered scout, that's 20,200 paid gems. You're guaranteed 1 copy. So, 7,500 paid gems for Falkner, 20,200 paid gems for whatchamacallit, for Victor and Candice. Chase, 36,600 non-paid gems to give you a 2% chance wherever in that route to get a copy of Chase. And then there is Gladion, is a master fair. If you decide to go for the paid route, you get a sprint roll cake for your first copy of Gladion, which is a good thing as well. And every single time you make a multi-pull for the first 5 multi-pulls, either the paid route or the non-paid route, you get some presents. And there's only a 1% chance of scouting for Gladion, although there's a 12% chance of scouting for any of the other sync pairs while you're scouting. But the chances of getting shafted in Master Fair, especially since this is a bait unit. And bait units are designed by DNA to steal and eat up all your gems. So if you're scouting for Gladion, take note that the chances of getting shafted is relatively high. And, well, just prepare yourself if you decide to spend your gems on Gladion. Prepare your gems, prepare your wallets, prepare your hearts, and hopefully you don't get too disappointed, because Master Fairs really are meant to not have a good chance of scouting for the featured unit. Chase has a higher chance, and every single time you're able to get Chase on his Poke Fair Scout banner, you are able to get 4 5-star power-ups on any of the sync pairs, and 4 sprint roll cake coins, which you need 20 to exchange for a sprint roll cake and give it to either Chase or Gladion or any other sync pair with a sprint EX roll. So Those are the things. And I know a lot of you are wanting to spend your gems on Signasuit Steven. Well, here's my thoughts. I think that there is a chance, not a 100% chance, but there is a chance that next month's Master Fair will have a Psychic type, because Psychic type high score event, but there's also a chance that there might not be a Psychic type because the Psychic types are already Signasuit Lusamine and Signasuit Steven. So maybe invest your gems wisely, and maybe you can wait for the Datamine also, because the Datamine is happening probably on the 25, 26, 27 is a little bit late for the Datamine. So maybe wait for the Datamine to see who are the anniversary sync pairs. But enough of this screen, guys. Let's take a look at Chase right now with Chase and Pikachu. This is a support sync pair, and this completes our Pikachus with Ash being the striker / main character being the striker, with Thunderbolt Red being the tech sync pair as well as the field sync pair. This one is the support and sprint. And his stats are interesting. 307 defense, 312 special defense. Not too bad. Pretty high. Speed stat okay, but honestly, your only attack is Thunder Shock anyway, and that's a 1-move gauge attack. And if you prefer to pair him up with the other Pikachus, all of them have 2-move gauge attacks. You don't exactly have to worry about the speed stat at all. The nice thing about getting this one is that you will have all your theme skills match with the other Pikachu. So Electric, Kanto, main character, Pallet Town. You will have those 4 theme skills match up with the other Pikachus, with Ash, with Thunderbolt Red. So if you want to see that very fulfilling and very, satisfying theme skill synergy, then go for this one. The sad thing is, guys, is that this sync pair is not better than Iono or Champion Blue in this regard. Yes, this sync pair has Kanto Analysis, which gives you a special moves up next effect for all your allied sync pairs. Applies Kanto Special Circle, which powers up all your special attacks. Take note that Kanto Analysis will not power up Thunderbolt Red's Volt Tackle or whatever Volt Tackle it is, because Volt Tackle is a physical attack. So Kanto Analysis will not power up your body move for Thunderbolt Red, which is supposedly your method of attack if you want to pair up Thunderbolt Red, Ash, and Chase. But it will power up Ash's B, Thunderbolt, and Thunder. It will power that up, but it will not power up B Volt Tackle for Thunderbolt Red, so take note of that. So, he also has X Special Attack All, which is kind of worthless if you want to pair him up with Ash and Thunderbolt Red as well, because Ash can easily max out his special attack stat. And he has Let's Go Everyone, which lowers your sync move countdown by 1, which is a good thing. And it raises the critical hit rate of all allied sync pairs by 2 stat ranks, which is, again, if you want to pair him up with Ash and Thunderbolt Red, it's not that good because Ash and Thunderbolt Red, I think, can always land critical hits, and Ash can just easily max out his critical hit rate stat, and the only attack he has is Thunder Shock, which, again, if we were to compare this sync pair with Champion Blue with 1 discharge can give everyone an electric type rebuff, powering up everyone's electric type attacks permanently. And with with 1 sync move, if you have him with a Strike EX roll, can give everyone another electric type rebuff, making him way stronger and making your electric type stronger. Kanto Analysis is temporary. Once Kanto's circle goes away, your attacks get weaker again. So that is one of the biggest reasons why you prefer Champion Blue rather than Chase in general. And let's take a look at his passive skills right now. Electrifying Chase, when the opponent attacks you, they get paralyzed. And you recover everyone's HP. Okay. That HP recovery, like Team Triage Tank 9, basically, is a good thing. Team or Trainer Move, Team Speed, and Evasiveness up 9. Whenever you attack an opponent, or rather, whenever you use a Trainer Move, to be more specific, you get to raise everyone's speed stat, which again, if I were to say the speed stat, you don't need to raise everyone's speed stat if you were to pair up with Pikachu's. Evasiveness is good. Full Bracing Command 9 raises the user's defense and special defense by 1 when its trainer uses a move. Okay. You get to raise Chase's defense and special defense. But what about your allied sync pairs? They get their defenses stuck at 0. So this is whatchamacallit? This is an offensive buffer. This is an offensive support, not a defensive support. Evasiveness support, speed support. I'd prefer defensive supports. And one more thing comparing this with Champion Blue. Champion Blue, every single time you attack the opponent, you get to raise everyone's defenses +1. Both defenses. And I'd prefer this rather than just raising your own defenses. And if you have Champion Blue at 3 out of 5, you get to lower everyone's special attack and physical attack for the opponent -1. Now, we're not looking at Chase Sync Grid right now. We're not looking at 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. But that alone, if you want to compare Champion Blue with Chase, if you want to scout and you have Champion Blue, it is not worth it to get Chase. If you have Iono on the other hand, Iono cannot raise defenses for everyone as well. Every single time you get hit, you get a free move next, which is not exactly that helpful as well if you want to pair Iono up with Pikachu's, but you get a special moves up next effect every single time, unlimited times. So if you compare Iono with Chase, maybe it's nice to get Chase for specific reasons of your choice. It's also a support sprint. Iono is a support striker. And Champion Blue is a support striker as well. So if you, let's just say, my thoughts on this one. If you have Iono, yes, you might want to scout for Chase and Pikachu. Although I think Iono is still better than Chase and Pikachu for some reason. But if you have Champion Blue, and Zapdos, and you want, or you're thinking of scouting for Chase and Pikachu, I say not. Just stick with your Champion Blue unless you want, Chase and Pikachu. If you want a team of triple Pikachus, but, Thunderbolt Red, main character, and Ash is a triple Pikachu team, and you can get Pikachus as Eggmons as well. So it's easy to get a triple Pikachu team as well as you're getting PT and Pikachu. So it's easy to get a triple Pikachu team. You don't need Chase and Pikachu for this one. So that's my thoughts on Chase and Pikachu. Let's move on to the next one. But tell me in the comment section if you agree or disagree with my thoughts. Falkner and Noctowl is a support tech sync pair. And again, I'm not a fan of this combination, but level 140 stats, his special defense is 308, which is quite high, but not as high as Chase over here with 312 special defense stat. Attack, special attack, pretty low. Speed stat is okay. HP is okay. This is flying type sync pair. And this sync pair has Air Cutter, which hits everyone. Critical hits land more easily. Potion. Dreamlike Hypnosis is an interesting buddy move. Whenever your allies hit 5 times, I think that's including if you want to use an AoE attack, you get to hit 3. So if you use his Air Cutter, you get to hit a total of 3 times, plus another sync pair attacks, that's 4 times, plus another sync pair attacks, 5 times. So I'm thinking that this is every other turn, you get to use Dreamlike Hypnosis. And this basically never flinches, leaves all opponents either confused, trapped, or flinching. Nice. And then all opponents get to fall asleep, which is also nice. And then it raises one of the following, one random stat for your sync pairs, either attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, or evasiveness, which is also nice. So every other turn, you get to make all opponents fall asleep unless the opponents get the nullification or any resilience or anything like that, or wide awake. And then we can still fly, raises the defense and special defense of all allied sync pairs +2, which is also nice because I prefer defensive sync pairs over offensive, or rather defensive supports over offensive supports. And then for the passive skills, you got use status move, and that status move is actually your buddy move, Dreamlike Hypnosis. Whenever you use a status move, you get to lower all opponents' special attack -1, physical attack rather, and special attack because of the second passive skill. So not only do you make the opponents trap, flinch, or confused, but you also get to make them fall asleep, and you also lower their attack and special attack stats. Nice. You also prevent your sync pairs from falling asleep using Team Wide Awake. And I guess overall, guys, as much as I hate Falkner, Falkner is a pretty interesting sync pair, and he's a pretty good sync pair. And guys, if you have Falkner 3 out of 5, you get to have a staggering 4, or was it staggering 3 or staggering 4 in your sync grid, which I'm not encouraging you about 3 or 4, 2 or 3 out of 5 right now in this video, but just for your info, staggering 3 or staggering 4, 40% chance if it's staggering 3, staggering 4, 50% chance. I think it's staggering 3 of making all the opponents flinch if you use Air Cutter. So every other turn, you get to have a chance of making all opponents flinch, and then the other turn, you get to make all opponents fall asleep, flinch, fall asleep, flinch, fall asleep. Take note that if the opponents are asleep, they will not flinch. So, Dreamlike Hypnosis, although it says leave all opponents either flinching and asleep, that will not work because sleeping opponents will not flinch no matter what, but they can be confused, they can be trapped. So, Falkner is an interesting one. I'm just not a fan of his EX roll. EX roll, support tech, yes, the stats go up. HP goes up by 60, attack and special attack goes up by 20, defense and special defense goes up by 20, but then sync move, no multipliers whatsoever except for that 1.5 times multiplier. But overall, Falkner and Noctowl is a very good sync pair. But the sad thing is he's a variety scout. Variety scouts are just sus and just another way of DNA making money. But the good thing is there's only 5 sync pairs this month. And if you want to go for him, well, maybe invest 7,500 paid gems rather than risking it all with your non-paid gems, because non-paid gems, you'll have to go 36,000 non-paid gems for this one. And flying types, you know, we haven't gotten a very solid flying type team yet. Not as strong as for example electric types. Electric types, there's always this team in your mind right now. ice types, there's always this team right now that you'll go for. But flying types is still kind of not yet quite there. So Falkner and Noctowl might be a good selection for 1 out of 5. At least 1 out of 5 gets you so much already with Falkner and Noctowl. The sad thing, and one criticism I have for this one, is that you cannot raise your critical hit rate with Falkner and Noctowl. So you have to have another sync pair to raise your critical hit rate. Although your passives or your air cutter will allow Falkner and Noctowl to probably hit the enemy with critical hits rather than nothing at all. So that's Falkner and Noctowl. Let's move on to the next one. Victor. And my most disliked Pokemon. I am so sorry, but I don't really like Greedent. But maybe this sync pair will make me like him. He's also a support tech sync pair, which the same as Falkner. His stats, defense and special defense are 284. Not exactly that great compared to Chase. Speed is pretty low. HP is okay. Attack and special attack not too high. And his attacks, tackle. Citrus Berry is interesting. You have 3 MP. But because of his passive skill, which is a little nibble, you only have 2 MP for Citrus Berry. So this is basically like mini potion all, or a mini potion. Potion recovers 40% HP. This only recovers half, 20% HP for an ally or for yourself. But a little nibble basically says that although Citrus Berry only has 2 MP, but if you reach half HP, you recover yourself by 40% HP, which is like First Aid 4, I think. And then it will give you an Endure effect. So when you reach half HP, you get to recover 40% HP, like midpoint mend 4, I think, and an endurance effect for yourself. Take note that you have to reach at least half health first before this activates. So if the opponent decides to one-shot you, or you're at 60% and the opponent just takes you down, you will not have the endure effect yet. You'll have to reach at least half health first before that endure effect will trigger. In a half seconds, when you have at least 1 MP for Citrus Berry or full MP for Citrus Berry, and you attack an opponent, either tackle, either hyper belch, you get to raise everyone's attack, special attack, and critical hit rate. Which makes this more appealing for me immediately than Falkner, because you get to raise everyone's critical hit rate by 1. Every single time you attack. And you get to raise everyone's attack and special attack stat. Not only that, but you also have Cooking Prep, which raises your defense and special defense for all your allied sync pairs, which is like Falkner. Falkner can raise everyone's defense and special defense, although it can raise the speed up your move gauge as well. And then it gives you regen for everyone. You can use this twice, making this not only a defensive sync pair, but also an offensive sync pair because of half seconds. And you have Vigilance, which protects you from critical hits. That means your lucky skill opens up for another lucky skill, which, in my opinion, you can either give Healthy Healing, but then Healthy Healing is pretty worthless now because you can give yourself a regen effect. So you can give yourself probably Adrenaline 1 or Head Start 1 so that you get to lower your sync move countdown immediately at the start of the battle, or some other nullification thing, or some other lucky skill if you want. So it opens up a lot of possibilities for your lucky skill. And speaking of lucky skill, DNA is introducing a feature where you can switch lucky skills on the go. So I'm curious about that one. So that is Victor. But he has a buddy move, which is Hyper Belch. And basically, it requires you to have your Citrus Berry 2 or lower. At the start of the battle, if I understood this correctly, Citrus Berry will only have 2 MP. So at the start of the battle, your Hyper Belch will have 2 MP. Will have 2 MP immediately. Unless that reduces MP by 1 activates after your HP is half or below. I'm not sure how this works. I think at the start of the battle, your MP is already 2. So Hyper Belch should either be active immediately or not active yet. And basically, it never misses. And then it lowers the opponent's attack, defense, special attack, special defense -2, and leaves the opponent poisoned. Badly poisoned. So nice debuffer over here. You can decide to use this against one opponent only, or against another opponent for that double badly poison for the second opponent. Get to lower attack, defense, special defense. Plus badly poison. Good good tech debuffer. And that's it. An offensive support, a defensive support, a critical hit rate buffer, can recover himself, can recover another ally. But this is not potion, this is citrus berry, and potion is a little bit better than citrus berry. And then can give regen to all allies, can debuff the opponent, can badly poison the opponent. And I guess that's the thing about this sync pair. It's a very all-around support, can do a lot of things. And this is, well, we have a lot of crazy supports right now. And if I were to compare him with Champion Blue is definitely much better still than this. Champion Blue can recover so much health. Champion Blue can debuff all opponents. Champion Blue can make opponents paralyzed. Champion Blue can flinch all opponents. Champion Blue is better, but still, if you prefer Victor, you know, this is completely optional. If you want the very first Palatine sync pair, that's male, then go for Victor and Greedent. And if you want a Victor alt, then go for Victor and Greedent. I don't exactly have much to say with Victor and Greedent versus Chase, because Chase is more of Pikachu synergy. Victor, you can decide to go yes or no or whatever. But if you were to compare Victor and Champion Blue, definitely Champion Blue still better. But Chase, you can pair him up with not just Pikachu's, but any other sync pair. And if you decide to do that, Chase becomes way better. But the thing is, you cannot raise defenses for your allied sync pairs with Chase. Victor, you can. So that's Victor and Greedent. Let's move on to the next one. Candice and 2 forms of Darmanitan, Galarian Darmanitan. If you are low on health, if you have lower than 50% health, you change to Zen form. And Zen form overall has better stats than your standard form all the way. You have your HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed higher than your standard form if you have your HP below half. And then you have Hit the Gas 5, which raises the damage of your attacks, but it increases your move gauge requirement +1. And then you have Soften Up 1. So as long as you have raised your critical hit rate, you're probably gonna always land critical hits using your sync move. And that's that. She has really high offensive stats. 446 if you decide to give her 6-star EX, that 486 if you decide to give her her EX roll, that's 506 physical attack stat at level 150. And she is a strike tech. That means her sync move is gonna hit 1.5 times harder, and she's gonna have some multipliers with her sync move. So let's take a look at her attacks. You have Icicle Crash. 4 move gauge attack is the sad thing about this one. And speed stat is not too bad. So you'll probably have not too much trouble using a 4 move gauge Icicle Crash. You have Potion to heal some HP. You have Fighting Spirit Icicle Crash. So you can use any move. Wrap it up, Potion, Icicle Crash to use Fighting Spirit Icicle Crash. But there's a thing here. The more times you use Icicle Crash before Fighting Spirit Icicle Crash, you get to power up your Fighting Spirit Icicle Crash to a maximum of 200% increase in damage. Every single time you use Icicle Crash, you get to power up your Fighting Spirit Icicle's Crash by 50% damage. And so once you use 4 Icicle Crashes first, before using Fighting Spirit Icicle Crash, that 216 power or 180 power at 1 out of 5 becomes 180 times 2. 360. Was it 360? No. 100% is 360. Plus another 180. I don't want to do some math right now. So it's going to be powered up twice. So it's going to be times 3 damage, because it powers up 180 plus 180 plus 180. It's gonna be way stronger. And it will, what can this do? It will make the target flinch. It's a guaranteed flinch for the opponent. And then, yeah, that's basically it. It's a guaranteed flinch. It gets more powerful the more times you use Icicle Crash. But it activates whenever you use any other trainer move. So Wrap It Up can raise your attack stat +4, can maximize your critical hit rate, can give yourself gradual healing. And then when you're low on HP or anything like that, you can use Potion. So this is just a very strong striker. Hit the Gas makes your Icicle Crash way more powerful. And then that is this your order. Whenever you switch forms, so whenever you switch from Zen mode to normal mode or normal mode to Zen mode, either way, and you can switch forms easily by using Potion. When you're low on HP, you can use Potion, go back to your normal mode. But when you go back to normal mode, your stats go lower. But then, every single time you switch modes, you get physical moves up next effect +2. That's an 80% increase in your damage, not only with your Icicle Crash, but also your Fighting Spirit Icicle Crash. And that 80% increase in damage, plus the 200% increase in damage, will just make your body move very, 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 very strong. And no built-in multiplier for 1 out of 5, but you get multipliers at 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, somewhere there. And just, you know, makes you decide to go for this one, then you have a very strong Ice type attacker. But then you have Champion Red, which gives opponents rebuff, and the more special moves up next you have, the stronger your sync move is, and then gives you a lot. But if you do not have Champion Red and prefer getting an Ice type, and you know, if you prefer having a physical Ice type attacker, because Champion Red is a special striker, and you have Iridile's also a special attacker. If you need a physical attacker, physical Ice type, there are not a lot who are good with physical attacks. You have Holiday Leon. You have some others. You have Holiday Nessa. Who else is a physical Ice type anyway? There are not a lot. You have Champion, or you have Summer Steven. You have some others. But this is a pretty good Ice type, physical Ice type. The combination of being a striker and a texting pair is also appealing. Makes your stats, makes your sync move, makes your normal attacks more powerful. So, if you need a physical Ice type or just an Ice type attacker, DPS in your team, or maybe a sync nuker, maybe Candice might be a good thing for you. Not a lot to say because there are not exactly too many great physical Ice types out there. Although special Ice types, there are quite a lot now. And now we go for the last sync pair, which is the bait unit of this month. Signasuit Gladion and Magearna. Magearna, whatever you want to pronounce this for. This is a special attacker, special striker with a sprint EX roll. That means you're able to use your sync move quite fast. Second sync move quite fast. Stats-wise, you have your, you know, if you 6-star EX him and give him the 6-star and the EX roll upgrade, his physical or his special attack will go up to almost 500, which is pretty insane. Pretty good, pretty strong. Speed stat pretty high. Defenses, not really strike level, it's tech level defenses over here. So his defenses will go up to 200 if you have him level 150 and 6-star EX. And as a master fair, he has a Lawless Spirit, a master passive skill, which powers up all your special attacks for all your allied sync pairs and reduces the special attack damage you receive from all opponents. And then his stats cannot be lowered because of Just Give It Up already. Impervious. And when the opponent lowers your stats in any way, the opponent gets to lower their stats instead. Now, I'm not sure if how this will work if, you know, there's a Champion Stadium thing that try not to get any of your sync pairs, try not to let any of your sync pairs faint. I guess that's a Champion Stadium thing. That's not the opponent lowering your stats. So I'm guessing that this will not affect the opponent in any way. But if the opponent decides to lower your stats, their stats get lowered instead. And every single time you use Flare Cannon, you get to lower the opponent's special attack -2. Condition nullification, you cannot get inflicted by any status conditions. You cannot get poisoned, frozen asleep, trapped, confused, flinch, nothing of that sort. And soften up 1, just like Candice, you get to always land critical hits with your sync move as long as you have raised your critical hit rate. That's the passive skills. Now for the attacks, you have Flare Cannon. It normally lowers your special attack -2, but then because of your passive skill, your stats cannot be lowered. So every single time you use Flare Cannon, it only hits one opponent, but it will lower that opponent's special attack stat -2. X-Speed Plus, just for you to hit the opponent faster because you will raise your speed stat higher. Piercing Flare Cannon. The lower the opponent's special attack is, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. Now, this is an AoE attack, but this is specifically depending on which opponent you target. So the more the currently target opponent's special attack is. So for example, you have 3 opponents. If you use Piercing Flare Cannon, it will hit everyone. But then probably you use Flare Cannon on just the center opponent. That center opponent has their special attack -6. But this opponent still has special attack not lowered. This opponent still has special attack not lowered. You can target this opponent instead. And the more this opponent's special attack is lowered, the more damage everyone will be hit by. If you target this opponent, yes, everyone will still get hit. But then, because this opponent does not have its special attack lowered, everyone will receive less damage compared to if you target this opponent and attack all opponents, because this opponent's special attack stat is lowered. Everyone's damage will become stronger. So that's basically what that thing is about. And the more the currently targeted opponent's special attack is lowered, the higher the special moves up next effect you will receive, to a maximum of +3 special moves up next effect. That's a 120% increase in damage for your next attack. Now, if you use Piercing Flare Cannon, your Piercing Flare Cannon will be deactivated. So you have to use another attack first. So you have to use Flare Cannon, then Piercing Flare Cannon, then Flare Cannon, then Piercing Flare Cannon, Flare Cannon, then Piercing Flare Cannon. That's how you use this. My Soul is Shaking maximizes your special attack stat immediately, maximizes your critical hit rate, gives you a free move next, and gives you a special moves up next effect. But it requires 4 move gauges. So, pretty expensive trainer move. Is it worth it giving 4 move gauges to this trainer move? Probably not, but very strong attacker anyway. And this sync pair is, again, the very, very first fairy type master fair in the game. and very, very strong special attack stat. If you decide to go for this one, I will not stop you because he's really, really strong. And again, with 6-star EX, you get to hit everyone. And with that EX roll upgrade, you get to lower your sync move countdown -3 after you use your sync move. That means you can probably land 2 sync moves using Signature Gladion, if you decide to go that way. 2 sync moves with Signature Gladion before the opponent is able to use their very first sync move. So I will not stop you except leave you some advice that this is a bait unit. And not only is this a bait unit, but this is a master fair. And again, bait units are known to shaft people unless you get really lucky. And master fairs are known to shaft people. And with that combination of 2 shafts, just take note that the chances of getting Signature Gladion might not be that great. So if you decide to go for this one, prepare your heart, prepare your gems. But overall, this is a very good sync pair. Even at 1 copy, very, very, very strong sync pair. And with that, guys, that is our analysis and discussion of all these 5 sync pairs. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And tell me who among these sync pairs you want to scout. Most important thing is, go for your faves, not the meta. Although I'd recommend getting the anniversary units all the time. Recommend is not, you know, imposing you to get any of these sync pairs. Just recommend. I recommend you guys to get the anniversary sync pairs. And probably all master fairs. But then, you know, we don't exactly have a lot of gems. You can check out my how many gems can we get video for the number of gems we have. But again, that's it. Should you attempt or avoid these sync pairs? Well, you can attempt Gladion. You can attempt Falkner. I say attempt Falkner if you have paid gems only. You can attempt Candice. Victor is an interesting one. Chase, probably avoid. That's it. I'd recommend attempting. Give it a chance for every sync pair you can see except for Chase. Unless you want a triple, very nice team skill synergy for everyone. So with that said, guys, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up for me, as well as subscribe if you haven't. Let me know the thoughts in the comment section. If you want to support me, click on the join button to become a member, or go to my coffee.com/SPLgum page to help me with my dreams and aspirations of being an animal flow instructor. And with that, I leave you going to my class right now. This is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. You're this Team Skull Grunt. I will see you in the next video. Right.